Nature provides essence of life in the forms of water, air, and land. Ancient Hawaiians valued the simplicity of necessity, and many of their stories are deeply rooted in the oral tradition of storytelling. One example is the creation story, which exemplifies Kalo as being the first Hawaiian child and describes the interconnection between all Hawaiians. The tale begins with Earth Mother, Papa, and Sky Father, Wakea, having a daughter whose first pregnancy ended in giving birth to a stillborn child. The morning after burying the child, a plant sprouted from the grave. This was the first Kalo plant, and although its heart-shaped leaves were green and tender, they were also hardy and outstretched. And when the wind blew, its leaves would gracefully bend and sway. Thus, this plant went on to signify the origin of the Hawaiian people. As the Kalo plant matures, it produces a corm called an oha. When this oha is removed from the mother plant and grows independently, it produces a new mother plant. This is where the word ohana originates from. It describes human families as Kalo plants with offspring. This story reminds us that the basis of life is dependent on nature and people living in harmony. It is with this spirit of connection that we join the Hompa Honganji Mission of Hawaii in honoring the 2019 Living Treasures of Hawaii. Jimmy Yagi, John Hara, Gertrude Tsutsumi, and Earl Kawa'a. Jimmy Yagi is a player's coach. He supports every player on his team and values each of them for their sheer determination as well as their proven abilities. He is a true mentor and educator.
That's right. Shot selection was my big thing. So I don't care where you come from, I don't care how many passes you make, but you take good shots. And it's got to be team shots. And shot selection became a big thing. My team, my whole career average 50% from the floor, which is very unheard of in basketball. But we took good shots. And my team learned how to take good shots. And I said, and the thing is that you play for each other, right? But my whole philosophy was that I'm not a yeller. I cannot discipline kids that are undisciplined. So I make sure that I recruit coaches that can buy into my philosophy. And when they come here, I tell this joke about, what's the secret to your success? I said, well, my name is James, and you heard of James Bond? James Bond. Bond with the kids, bond with your players, bond with the community. But I taught more non-basketball stuff to these kids because I get kids from Chicago, from California. They don't know what Hilo is like. I mean, but you have to blend into a small, and I spent a lot of time with these kids. When the first kids, when I recruit them, when they come to Hilo, I get 5 or 6 kids, first-time kids, freshmen or juniors, stay with me 1 week. I stay in my house, and I make sure that that you get sick, you call me. Don't call your mom in California. You can't do nothing for you. I'll come and take care of you and stuff. But I took a lot of lecturing. It's about life, you know, and it's about support systems and being playing for each other. Not playing for me. You're playing for the guy on the bench, you know. 40 minutes a game that's precious. You cannot get into the game and show off and forget about this and that. You want to play as best you can so that the guy can come in and get some playing time. So you build a team kind of philosophy.
Coach Yagi recognizes the extraordinary efforts of life coaches as well as sports coaches. He admires those who aim to provide knowledge and support simply because it is ingrained as part of their day-to-day existence.
Your mom was yelling at you all the time. You can hear her voice in your head forever. So you always listen to that because my mom died during one camp. I had to go bury her. And I gave a lecture to the camp about 60-something years before I found out who the best coach I ever had was my mom. And you will always also know that your mom was the best coach you ever had. So listen to your mom. Don't listen to your dad. Your dad is the worst guy. He'll tell you, shoot the ball no matter what the coach says. He wants you to be the star. I said, no, coach, I have to take bobo shots. Coach Yagi said bobo shots, being balanced, being open, being in range, and being the best option. All the footwork stuff I teach, is my mom taught me that. The nose step and stuff like that. Because I said, when I come home from school and your friends come over, come on, can I go out and play? You ask your mom, can I go out and play? Did you do your homework? No. She said, no, you do your homework first. But when you kids like me are whine, oh, come on, mom, my friends are here. Can I go out? The second time she says, no. The first time she says, no. Second time she says, no. But the third time she goes, no. Is that right? Well, you do something. That's how we play defense. When the guy want to cut to this side, you go, no, no, no. I call it no step. It's what my mom taught me. And I teach everything with my mom team. Be on time, pay attention, be enthusiastic, and have fun. 4 rules of life, 4 rules of camp. Yeah. Be on time, pay attention. Be on time, pay attention. Be enthusiastic and have fun. And I have to repeat this. These young kids, 8 years old, I had to learn how to coach college kids first. I started coaching 8, 10-year-old kids. I had to learn how to teach again. It's amazing.
Great mentors know how to unlock a person's full potential. Coach Yagi does this while nurturing athleticism and emphasizing sportsmanship. He continues to make a positive impact among countless individuals both on and off the court. John Hara recognizes the importance of being able to adapt. This is what has allowed him to become a pioneer in his field. He knows that creativity and flexibility are cornerstones of sustainability.
Well, what we've done in many different ways is to create environments, okay? And by doing so, we've created an environment through which people live, people develop. And I think that's perhaps the most important thing. I think. It's one thing to design a school, it's another. Well, it depends how the school is designed. And, that's one of the great things about, for example, the Case Middle School, where, most of the stuff at Punahou, but the environment, it allows things to happen. And I think that is still very important. You can't predict what it's going to be or what it is or what it's going to be because you don't know. But the way cases develop is just so amazing, how they're using the spaces now. We've allowed that kind of program to happen. I think that's very important. Similarly, when we did the Loose Pavilion, we were very mindful of how people circulate through the museum. And, the approaches and how you move is and was very important. Again, the language for the Loose Pavilion is a little more contemporary, but still, importantly, complementary to the original Goju building in 1929, I think. And we are presently working on another edition for the museum. So every 20 years, I think something's going to happen. But needs change, and people, the patrons of the museum, the people who go to the museum is quite different. Before, you could never take food into the museum at all, right? And you had to be properly dressed, et cetera, et cetera. Today they have Art After Dark, which is a major attraction for the museum. It attracts hundreds of people once a month or twice a month. So one has to be fully aware of these kinds of changes, and it's happening all over the world.
Art cannot exist without a proper foundation. and a proper foundation cannot fully be appreciated without artistic elements. Hara blends environmental designs with cultural elements to showcase Hawaii's unique aesthetics.
Yeah, I was chair of the Hawaii State Foundation of Culture and the Arts in 1996 to year 2000. Well, I've always been interested in incorporating art with the architecture. In fact, we started that in the, well, the first was maybe early 90s when Walter Dodds became chair of First Hawaiian Bank. We introduced art, and we brought art to the bank, and that was the start of his beginning as an art connoisseur. And when the new branch was built, he made sure that it incorporated. It had an art gallery. The Maui Arts Center, we had a committee specially formed to select artists to incorporate art within the cultural center. And the artists were selected before the building was built. So we managed to combine significantly art with architecture. And it don't mean tarot leaf patterns or that kind of thing, but this is actually commissioned art. One of the most significant pieces was we wanted grills, because grills is very much part of the Hawaiian architectural tradition, but not the literal, again, not the tarot leaf grill. So we went through a selection process and eventually selected the third grade class in Waikiki, Maui, to come up with drawings of what should be the grills. And then somebody on the committee had them made, had them transformed into cast iron grills based upon the kids' sketches. And it was incredible. Again, the idea of a tradition translated into contemporary terms. We recently completed the UH West Oahu campus, and the biggest thing there is this tower, and it was designed by an artist who lives and works in Kauai. She came here, and she sat on the site for days and nights, and came up with this wonderful thing, and the sculpture lights up with it. Again, the importance of incorporating this as part of the art or architecture. Art is part of the architecture, and I think that's very important.
From abstract ideas to practical functionality, Hara provides the organic spark between concept and form. Through striving for excellence in traditional Japanese dance, Gertrude Tsutsumi ultimately earned the professional name of Onoe Kikunobu. Since then, Kikunobu Sensei has been steadfast in teaching others to embrace the beauty of Nihon Buyo.
Okay, his philosophy, which I follow, and in his dances it comes through. It's sort of based on tea, the most beautiful movement, meaningful, and nothing wasteful. So that's the guideline. And his movements flow from one to the next. And that's what I like to follow. So when we choreograph, I make sure that the movements flow. And then, of course, meaning is important. I have a good time dancing, though. For one thing, I enjoy it, but also that I'm trying to, through motion, give a message, send a communication to people who are watching, and that's what's important to me. So I like for people to learn about that music and the feeling there. And I've been very, very blessed with people who come to see our dances. And I really enjoy it, otherwise. And I enjoy watching others dance. Even ice skating. Last night they had it on NHK, the ice skating event. I love to watch that too. Other people's moving, they're beautiful. And I think dancing is beautiful movement.
Kikunobu Sensei dedicates her life to perfecting the art of dance while exploring the multitude of opportunities it brings. She teaches others how to do the same.
I feel that is something that was given to me, and I should do justice to it. You know, no matter what area it is, dance or education, and dealing with people. I feel that I should be thankful that I was given this life, and to not make anybody shame, okay? And to touch as many people with what I have, to share what knowledge I have of things, be it dance or music or play productions and things like that.
Kikunobu Sensei combines performance art and cultural preservation in order to provide invaluable experience for her students, her audience, and for the world of dance. She eagerly shares her talents so that others may share in her joy.
O wauno o Kawa'a, mai moloka I mai I halawa I hanau ia. O ko umako kane me ko umako hine he o olua he kanaka kane wahine me ulu kalo. I am Earl Kawa'a and I was born and raised in Halawa Valley to a mother and father who grew taro all their lives. Aloha.
Earl Kawa'a values the significance of the aina to produce nourishment for the body and tenacity for the mind. Respecting this process is a lesson that Kawa'a learned early on.
And so I did a TEDx, and that's where I coined the phrase, a board and stone in every home. And that was 10 years ago. But what comes with board and stone, it is not a shop class. It's more than carving. It's about shaping attitudes and behaviors for families to grow. It's a passing on of knowledge, ancestral knowledge. It's the opportunity to pass on refined knowledge for those who aspire to become kumus in the future. They're not allowed to use power tools. It's all by hand. And so when I say it's all by hand, he says, "Oh, that's too difficult." I said, "That's part of the learning. It's part of the discipline." He said, "You're going to step back in time and feel and understand what your ancestors, what our ancestors." And he said, "It doesn't matter. I'm not talking just about Hawaiian ancestry. We're not the only people that dealt with stone. The Japanese dealt with stone. Neanderthals dealt with stone. So it's in our DNA to deal with stone." They also made stones for spears, but they also used wood to add so that it would have flight. So we're working with boards and we're working with stone. It's ancestral practice. But the base of the teaching is Hawaiian. The child may be having a hard time with the stone because she chose an Allah. And I would say, "I will help you." So I would score the rocks for the child. And the child takes it to finish. Only then it's allowed. Because that's where the learning comes from. And I said, "You're going to get frustrated. Deal with it. Don't run away from it." And here's another learning. When you run away from it, Dad, your son will run away from it because you teach him how to run away. That's what board and stone does. And when you say to your son, do it like this, and you're scolding him, be sure, Dad, he will scold his son. And if you strike him, Dad, he will strike his son. And so the next line, what do you want your son, how do you want your son to perform, to behave? They know how they want to do it. They understand it. So I'm skillful in the language and how I set it up also. That's what Board and Stone allows me. But my clinical background also adds to that. And so the line is which of the two behaviors do you want for your son to grow up in? To be nice. Yeah, I know I got to be nice. They admit, they know they got to be nice. See, that's admission. I set it up rather than, it's a proactive learning methodology that comes from clinical, as opposed to a reactive. Why did you do that? That's reactive. The proactive, tell me why you did that. Yeah. So tell me why. It's inviting the conversation. The other is put up your guard. Save yourself. And so that's what Board and Stone allows to occur with dads and with moms and with other dads working together.
Manifesting an idea into artistic creation is like harnessing a dream. Kawa'a's goal for every household is one that is lofty but attainable, and measurable but transformative.
When presently I'm teaching at Roosevelt High School, I'm going to I think my fourth year at Roosevelt, and I was with Castle High School. So, being that these are high school students, I'm not teaching them to be able to be proficient in math. So that is the responsibility of the teachers to do that in math and political science, whatever. It says, I'm teaching a particular class that shapes attitudes and behavior for success. Yeah. And so the lesson I want students to walk away is this: I can do it. That's what I want these students to walk away. And so when I give them the test and they fail the test, they say to me, Kumu, I know where I made a mistake. And I said, I can do it. And that's what I'm driving for, because I only have 1 year with them, or maybe 1 semester.
It is not only brawn and brains that strengthen a person. Perseverance wins battles. And although failure sometimes provides the best lessons, Kawa'a knows that confidence sometimes provides the best prevention of failure. While we revere kalo as a sacred connection to ancestral ties, it must also be nurtured with deliberation and carefully harvested in good time. These elements are similar to the actions of our honorees, as they carefully cultivate the quintessential goodness among the multitude of lives they have touched and continue to inspire. We cherish the efforts of Jimmy Yagi, John Hara, Gertrude Tsutsumi, and Earl Kawa'a as they continue to uphold cultural tradition and standards of excellence while serving as role models for all of us.